Hello peoples! Okay, so I have the final reading updates for you guys of what I read in February. And I actually had a good reading month. Not that I usually don't, but it's been a while since I was really happy with what I read. Remember the Try a Chapter video? Because I remember the Try a Chapter video. It didn't go as well, but basically I just wanted to give you guys kind of a reading update on the books I had been reading. So I did. And one of the books I definitely was not going to finish, and I still didn't, but the rest I did finish. So, yay! So what I did finish, Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca, Sappy, however you say the last name. This book I had been really hopeful about and really excited for. Now, usually when I'm excited for a book, it goes really downhill. This one did not go quite as downhill. So, I was very happy with that. I actually really enjoyed it, and I did a book talk on it, which will be linked down below. So, it was really good, and I was surprised that it did not go downhill. Though, after reading all the other books this month, it was probably not my favorite, because there was less lighthearted stuff in it than there was in the other stuff. So, yeah. I also got to read Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. There is going to be a kind of book talk coming out soon talking about the next 3 books I'm going to show you. So if you saw the Try a Chapter video, which will be linked down below, then you know I had been unsure about this one. I had been thinking about putting it down in the first couple of chapters. However, I decided to give it another try, and I kept reading, and it got a lot better, and I really enjoyed it and was kind of one of my favorites this month. Though it's kind of hard to rank all the books this month in favorites, more of just a little less than that book, a little less than that one. I also read Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett, however you say that last name as well, and Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. So these books also really surprised me as well. I got really surprised this month with quite a few books. It was my first time reading actual contemporaries like this, so I expected them to be really cringy and bad, but they weren't. So apparently I've been missing out. Yeah. Either way, this book, despite its horrendous cover, which the cover change is supposed to be really pretty, and I thought I was getting that one, but I don't know where it went. It's not this cover. The inside of the book was really good. The outside not so much, but the inside was very good. Just trust me on that. Alex Approximately was... It was an interesting read, and I did like it, though it was maybe my least favorite so far. I did like Eliza and Her Monsters more than it, but I did enjoy it, so yeah. I also finally got to read To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, so I did enjoy it. I did really like it, and I want to read the next one. However, I did not love it. So, yeah. It just didn't... I don't know. I am still deciding. I also did get to read some comics this month. I got to read Justice League vs. Suicide Squad Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3, and I really enjoyed the comic series so far. I luckily have more, so those are going to be on my TBR in April as well. But I was really surprised because I'm not as big of a fan of the DC movies. I have watched them, but personally I really like Marvel's sense of humor and stuff in the movies a bit better. But I noticed in comics that the DC comics are quite a bit better than the Marvel ones. So now on to the books I did not get to finish in February. Looking for Alaska by John Green. I decided not to finish this book, and there was a couple reasons. So if you want to find out more, my Try a Chapter video is down below where I talked about why I didn't really want to read it. But mostly, it wasn't my cup of tea, and I thought it'd be a bit different than it turned out being. I did not get very far in, but I just couldn't bring myself to read more of it. I just really did not connect with it and didn't really like it. I also started to read a couple other books, Fangirl by Rowell. However, I did not get to finish it, though I do really hope to finish it soon. I did like it, I just kind of ran out of time to keep reading it, but it was good and I do like it so far, so I am hoping to finish it soon. So that was the wrap-up part of the video, and now is going to be the TBR part of the video for March. So the first book on my March TBR is Thomas Waldus and the Book of Sorrows by J.M. Bergen. So this book was sent to me by some publishers, and I started reading it in February, but I'm already on chapter 4, and it's not going to get finished in February because February is already over. So I'm going to hopefully finish it in March. And it's a middle grade, so it's really up my alley, and it has to do with fantasy. It actually has to do more with magicians and such, so it really takes me back to the Percy Jackson days. So aside from the Thomas Waldus and the Book of Sorrows book, I kind of set a theme for March's TBR, which I had mentioned, I think, in my 2019 bookish goals and such, that I wanted to set kind of themes for my TBR for months. So March's TBR has to do more of sequels. So basically, aside from one book, I'm only reading sequels this month. Daughter of the Siren Queen by Tricia Levenseller. So this is the sequel to Daughter of the Pirate King, which I have linked down below, a video where I did kind of my bookish thoughts on it. I did enjoy the first book a lot, so I'm very hopeful with this. However, I've read some books where the second book completely ruined everything, so we'll find out. I'll let you know if I end up crying. The Spirit Glass Charade by Colleen Gleason. This is the sequel to The Clockwork Scarab. It was a Stalker and Holmes novel, so it's a retelling of, actually it's kind of a mashup of kind of a retelling. So it has to do with Sherlock Holmes' niece, and it also has to do with Bram Stoker's sister, who's a vampire hunter. And they have to solve some mysteries that are happening. So I read the first book and I did really enjoy it. I had just picked it up on a whim, and I didn't exactly read the back, so I didn't know what it was about. So it was very shocking. However, it still had some loose ends at the end of book 1, so you could tell there was a sequel. However, apparently it's like a 4-book series. So I really need to finish the series now and find out what's going on. So this one is definitely on the TBR. Wildcard by Mary Lou, the sequel to Warcross, that one book that I'd said I wouldn't read, but I ended up reading and really loved and was obsessed with for a while. Yeah, this is the sequel to that one. Through the Zombie Glass. Okay, so this is the sequel to Alice in Zombieland by Gina Showalter. So, I went through a phase of Alice in Wonderland retellings to do with zombies, and I found Alice in Zombieland, but I wouldn't exactly call it a retelling because it only had a couple things really that had to do with Alice in Wonderland besides the main character's name being Alice. So yeah, but this is the sequel. It apparently is also a series, so I probably should finish that series at some point. So that's why the sequel is on the TBR as well. The Evolution of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. So I got kind of late to the Mara Dyer series. I'd heard a lot about it. I finally read it. I did really enjoy it, though I had kind of different expectations. And then I come to find out that there's a second series as well, a Noah Shaw series, and there's a lot of things that the author put out specifically to do with Mara Dyer, so I kind of need to get caught up. Unhinged by A.G. Howard. This is the sequel to Splintered by A.G. Howard, so I really like A.G. Howard's books. She does retellings with a paranormal fantasy twist. So this is an Alice in Wonderland retelling, and it's a series, and I've read the first book, and I've read some of the second book. However, I had gotten like halfway through and never finished it, so we're going to reread it and finish it this time. Hopefully. And finally, the last book is Legendary by Stephanie Garber, book 2 to Caraval. So I think book 3 is coming out in 2019. However, I only recently finished Caraval. Okay, I say recently, but like I've read it twice in 2018. I had, and I think the month of October, I did a reread to prepare for when I got my hands on this one. So, now I got my hands on this one. I've reread the first book twice in 1 year, and now I feel prepared. So, I'm definitely going to be reading this one some point very soon, because it's already March, so I should probably get a head start on these. Yeah. So, this is March's TBR. So, it's not too big of a pile because I've actually made a TBR where like I had 2 piles before, so I think this is downsizing, technically. So what did you guys read in February? What are you hoping to read in March? Thank you guys for watching, and have you read any of these books? You probably have, because I'm a bit behind. I know I am, by a while, but still. So thank you guys for watching. Click like if you liked the video. Have a good one, guys.